2 weeks ago, when Roger Federer was dismantling Robin Soderling in Paris en route to the French Open title, his friend, Tiger Woods, was back in Ohio, nervously watching. "I was yelling at the TV, the whole deal," said Tiger, who was a bit late to the driving range, but then went out and won the Memorial that afternoon. That Sunday, a reminder that we may be watching the two best players ever in their respective sports. And at this moment in time, each man with 14 of those things they hunger for most, major titles. Here's Jeremy Schaap. For most of the last decade, two men have towered over the country club sports: Tiger Woods and Roger Federer.
When you talk about golf, you talk about Tiger, you talk about tennis, you talk about me.
Two champions for the ages whose lives and careers have recently converged. At 33, Woods has amassed 14 major championships. At 27, Federer has amassed 14 major championships. Woods celebrates Father's Day with an infant son and a toddler daughter. Federer's wife is expecting their first child. Whenever they gain those 15th titles, one thing's clear: Woods is rooting for Federer, and Federer is rooting for Woods. And not just because they're both on the Gillette payroll. In some ways, Federer's probably the only other person on the planet who can understand what it's like to be Woods, and vice versa.
You know, we're both individual athletes, and from that standpoint, we can truly relate. When you're out there by yourself and you have no one else to rely on, in a sense, it can be harder.
And it's not too different from, to be honest, you know, tennis and golf. So there's many things to relate to. The 4 majors a year, the whole thing. We play about a similar amount of tournaments.
He doesn't have a coach on the court when he's playing, and nor do I when I'm actually playing a round of golf.
Woods and Federer became acquainted a few years ago when Federer invited Woods to see him play at the U.S. Open.
He says, "Yeah, sure, I'll come. You know, I come for the finals," and the finals is like 6-7 matches away. You know, this is not the easiest thing to do at the U.S. Open, especially.
Federer, of course, reached the final, won it, and a friendship forged in mutual admiration and indomitability was born. It's a friendship unique in the annals of great champions from across the sports world. Jack Dempsey didn't hang out much with Babe Ruth. Rod Laver wasn't pals with Bill Russell. Ben Hogan wasn't friendly with, well, just about anyone. Maybe Byron Nelson. Of course, Woods and Federer could never be so friendly if they played the same sport. They might respect each other, but they could never drop their competitive guard low enough to allow friendship to intrude. Rafael Nadal seems to truly respect Federer. He doesn't cheer for him. Phil Mickelson has to marvel at the feats of Tiger Woods. He and Tiger aren't what you would call buddies. Tiger's 6 years older than Federer, but their careers are now in different trajectories. Federer is no longer the world #1. His victory at the French Open was achieved in the absence of Nadal, who defeated him last July at Wimbledon, perhaps the greatest match ever. Tennis is physically demanding in ways that golf isn't. For Federer, the end might be just 2 or 3 years off. Woods, meanwhile, is just reaching the age at which most golfers peak. If his surgically repaired knee holds up, it's conceivable that he might win another 10 major titles. But right now, they're both at 14. With one more major, Federer will break the career record he shares with Pete Sampras. With 5 more, Woods will surpass Jack Nicklaus's record. In golf, they say you play the course. In tennis, your opponent. But Woods and Federer play against history. What they have in common is uncommon greatness. No wonder they get along.
Jeremy Schaap reporting. As he mentioned, 5.5 years younger is Federer than Tiger, but Federer's almost certain to be the first off the stage. He's already dropped behind Rafael Nadal in the world rankings, and the late 20s can be cruel to tennis players. But Federer is also most likely to grab the major record first. With Nadal out of Wimbledon, Federer becomes the favorite to win his 15th Grand Slam title. The fortnight starts tomorrow.